Good morning and welcome to More Tea Minister. My name is Ian. This video is part two of a double bill where we are looking at a particular kind of dark tea, Liu Bao. To be more precise, we're looking at Liu Bao as a kind of celebration because I found two examples where I actually enjoy Liu Bao, whereas previously it's something that kind of left me cold. Unlike the first one that we looked at, the farmer smoked raw Liu Bao, which was something of a shot in the dark, this left a lot less to chance or guesswork because this tea is almost a kind of crossover between Liu Bao and a very different kind of dark tea. So let me explain what we are looking at. This tea comes from Dragon Tea House Biz, and it is aged Heishi Mountain Golden Flowers Liu Bao tea. So that's from Dragon Tea House Biz. What I like about their packaging is that there's this very thick paper exterior with some nutritional information, some very basic origin details, and there's a gold kind of embossed sticker on the front with a very, very solid Ziploc, but the tea itself then comes in a sealed package within it. So it's doubly kind of protected against the elements. So this is aged Heishi Mountain Golden Flowers Liu Bao tea. Now the Heishi Mountain, I did some digging, means that it comes from the sort of heartland of Liu Bao manufacture. And the golden flowers tells you that it's going to have a very different flavor profile from a standard Liu Bao. Might also be the case because this is from 2010, so you're now looking at 15 years old. Golden Flowers is a kind of mold. We'll talk more about that in later videos when we look at fu tea or fu cha, which is sort of synonymous with golden flowers, but it's a gold-coloured spore from a mold, golden flowers, that can grow naturally on tea as it ages and ferments, but can also be inoculated into the tea so that there's more of it, or there's a kind of consistent amount within the tea. I'm not sure whether in this instance the tea was inoculated or it's just grown naturally, but golden flowers adds a delightful kind of flavour to tea, and that marries very well with the Liu Bao flavour profile. Now, interestingly, the brewing parameters from Dragon Tea House recommend a Western style of brewing, but I didn't spot that because it's very small print, so I'd been experimenting Gongfu style, which is what we're going to do again today. So we have our standard setup, gaiwan, the lid for the gaiwan acting as a platter, drinking cup, there's the stand for our wide-brimmed strainer, our transparent jug, and off to the one side is our wastewater bowl. The kettle set to 100 degrees centigrade, and it's just chugging away there in urn function. Next thing we're going to do is show you the leaves. First of all, you can see how much kind of compression this tea has been under. That's quite a sizable chunk of tea right there. However, there are also there's a lot of the tea there just in a standard loose format as well. The colour of the tea is almost uniformly black. There's very little brown, if any. And the smell of the tea, let's smell this chunk. I can't really smell anything from the chunk. I'm putting that to one side because I haven't weighed that. That was just for your benefit. Slightly sweet, slightly cocoa-y, almost like a black tea on the dry leaves. So we're going to, that's 6 grams of tea, by the way. And especially given there are some fragments, we're going to give it a 5 to 10 second rinse as per normal. Don't need the full 100 mils of water, which we'll do after that. Yeah. The first time I tried brewing this, I brewed it from one of the blocks, which meant the flavour lasted for maybe 10 rounds, 10 steepings, and even then it wasn't finished. I think we might get a more intense flavour quicker with these smaller bits of loose leaf. Just let the kettle reboil. But we might get fewer steepings as well. There we go. You can't get much more freshly brewed than that. Let's take it up to 100, which is about there. And we'll give that 15-20 seconds to start with. I don't want it to be too intense. And then I'll give you a sort of description of the smell, which might give you some clue as to what golden flowers brings to the tea. Let's pour out that wash whilst we're waiting. That should do. The smell. There's a little bit of that Liu Bao root vegetable smell, but it's very smooth. Not surprising when it's 15 years old. The golden flowers adds, it's something sweet and it's something savory. It's something slightly mushroomy. It's wonderfully smooth and rich, and it's one of the reasons why Fu Cha is quite possibly my most favorite dark tea, at least of the ones that produce on a mass scale. So let's try that steeping. That's pretty dark. Another smell from the lid. Much the same. The Liu Bao sort of root vegetable smell goes really, really well with the golden flowers. It just smells immensely rich. Oh, the colour. Let's show you the colour. More red, but there's a hint of orange in there. I'm not sure how well you can tell. Red, orange. The smell in the cup, it actually looks slightly thicker. I wonder if it's one of those, yeah. The water settles in the bottom of the cup, the tea, I beg your pardon, but it does leave a little residue on the sides. So it's slightly viscous. It's wonderful. It's earthy, it's sweet, it's fungal, it's got... And I think the reason it works so well together is that there's a certain slightly sweet earthiness that comes from the Liu Bao flavour profile and from the golden flowers flavour profile. So they sort of work together brilliantly. It's not bitter. I think you could oversteep this and you could probably brew it too strong. But so far, it's just really intense. It's very, very enjoyable. Let's try again. Let's make sure it gets the full 100. Incidentally, whilst it's steeping, we'll give that about 25 seconds. I should also say that this is also available in brick form. I don't know the producer of this version from Dragon Tea House, unless Dragon Tea House themselves have produced it, but this is from Three Crane Sanhei, a very famous producer of lots of dark teas, but especially Liu Bao in one form or another. So I'd be very interested to try this brick version of it. This is 20056. It's a 500 gram brick, so it's got some heft to it. But I'm waiting until that has settled down after its transit from, presumably directly from China to here. A bit like not smoking cigars the minute you get them, but letting them settle for a while in your humidor. The same is true of tea. Unless it's in a sealed packet, you need to let it get used to the humidity and the temperature where you live, or where at least where you store your tea. So there's another bit of lesson for you, the smell from the lid. There's a sweetness really coming through, quite a complex sweetness, a little bit of bitterness in there like a caramel. It's sweet and it's earthy and it's fungal. The colour red still, but a pretty dark one now. Just a lovely smell. Let's try. Yeah, it's really viscous. It's not quite syrupy, but you can tell it's not. You can tell it's not thin or overly dilute. Put it that way. As usual, it's the sweetness coming off the cup. It kind of alternates on the palate between the Liu Bao flavor profile and the golden flowers. They really do work together. And having to work very hard not to drink all of this, but having already done a review, I'll be absolutely jittering. Sweet, earthy, fungal or mushroomy all at once. Let's make this our last steeping. I can always drink it more carefully off camera. Let's try pouring it as an experiment. Let's pour the water directly into the gaiwan, not directly onto the tea. So it's slightly cooler, only slightly. That makes it slightly cooler, and see if that makes a difference. One of the beauties about the gaiwan is all these little ways that you can adjust the parameters for brewing without even needing to adjust the kettle. It's a very lingering taste on the palate. The earthiness is still on the palate. Some of the sweetness, some of the pure strength of the tea, which I think has come from the Liu Bao, but it's always a good sign. Let's try the lid. That's looking relatively dark. That's a bit thin on the smell. We're going to give that a few seconds longer. Always got to adjust things. Very difficult to adjust one parameter without it having an effect on the tea. That's the whole point. Let's see if it likes a lower temperature, but we do need to brew it for longer, is my point. Let's see how that smells now. Colour's darkened. Smell has built up again. Sweet, earthy, mushroomy. Now that it's brewed in that way, there is a lot of twig material kind of chopped up, but it's much less, despite these chunks, it's actually much less coarse than the farmer smoked Liu Bao that I just reviewed. And I'll have both videos come up at the same time. That's looking pretty dark again. Good. It's the golden flowers that's predominating there. Ooh, yeah, sweet and golden flowers. There you go, very dark red. Let's try wee cupful. Very viscous. Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's sticking to the sides. Not quite in the same if you ever pour a brandy or something into a glass. The brandy or the spirits can take a while to run down the sides. You get that with this tea, but not quite as intense. Wonderfully smooth. Golden flowers, but a kind of tang that's coming from the Liu Bao. So that is 14 minutes. Let's wrap this up. As with the previous video, this isn't really about our usual threefold recommendations, because I've already said that I do enjoy this tea. I just wanted this to be a celebration of what can happen when you persevere and you try these different kinds of tea. Eventually, there's either one version of it you enjoy, or there's a kind of spin-off, like the farmer smoked version, or in this case, the golden flowers inoculated or golden flowers version of Liu Bao, both of which are slightly different, but that makes them enjoyable. So I hope this has been of some use to you. If you like food cha or golden flowers tea, I'd recommend this, even if, like me, you don't normally like Liu Bao. If you like Liu Bao and you want to try something that's a little bit richer and has got some age on it, this might be for you. Also, don't forget, later on we'll be reviewing this brick version as well. This is not the first example of loose Liu Bao with golden flowers I've tried either, incidentally, so there are probably a fair few that you could get hold of. So, once again, thank you for joining me. Happy steeping and God bless.